Hey puzzlers, this is Steve here with another video on how to solve some logic puzzles. This one's known as a Renban. How it works is you're going to be filling in every cell with the digit 1 through 8, such that no number repeats in any row, column, or region. Regions must form a sequence of consecutive numbers. So what that means is if we look at this region here, you wouldn't be able to place, say, a 2 or a 1 here, because it wouldn't be able to connect with the 7. It's either going to have to be 8, 7, 6 or 5, 6, 7. And it doesn't have to be in order, right? Say this could be an 8 or that could be an 8, but it has to be able to connect with the 7. So hopefully that makes sense. If it doesn't, that's okay. I'm going to go ahead and solve the puzzle anyways, and you'll see how it unravels, and you'll get the hang of it. Along the way, I'm going to share some common tips and tricks that'll hopefully make it easier for you to solve this type of puzzle yourself in the future. And I've pulled this particular puzzle from a recently published book on Amazon. I'll post a link in the description below. Would love it if you guys would check it out. Without further ado, let's get started. So the first place I would look is this region here. 8 being the largest number, we know this can't be a 9. That has to be a 7. And then where I would look from there is any regions that are going to be bounded or constrained. What I mean by that, it's going to have a small number and a large number, and then you know all the numbers in between have to go in there. So what I mean is if we look at this region here, we see a 1 and a 4. Well, we know a 2 and a 3 has to be in here as well, because that would connect these digits. And the 2 can't go here, because that would break the rule where the digits repeat in the row. So since the 2 can't go here, it has to go there, forcing that cell to be a 3. And then if we look at this row here, it's almost complete. We're just missing 3 digits. We're missing a 4, 5, and 7. Well, 7's already in this column, so this can't be a 7. That forces a 7 to be in one of these two. And a 4 is also in that column. So since the 4 can't go there, 4 must be in those two cells. And that creates a nice little pair here, so that this must be the 5, right? Because if this is a 7, that's a 4. If that's a 4, that's a 7, vice versa. So the only spot a 5 can go is right there. We can actually make that bigger. We know that's the solution. Now, if we look at this region, if this were a 7, this would have to be a 6, right? Because the 7 and the 5 bounds this to be a 6. And that's okay. That's allowed. If this were a 4, that could also be a 6, right? 4, 5, 6. Or it could be a 3. Right, 3, 4, 5. But that wouldn't work because this 3 here would repeat. So either way, we know this is going to be a 6. Whether this is a 4 or a 7, this has to be a 6. I can actually make that bigger now. And now we're just missing 3 digits down here. 3 digits we're missing is a 1, 5, and 7. 1, 5, and 7. Well, the 7 can't go here because there's already a 7 in this column. So that pushes a 7 over here. A 1 can't go here because this is a bounded region, right? All the numbers have to be in between 3 and 8. So 4, 5, 6 go in there. So since this can't be a 1, the 1 goes in the other two. And then 5s. I think a 5 can go in any of those cells. Right, 1, 5, 7, 7. Okay, so that's not helpful quite yet. If we think about, let's look at this region. So this region is a unique one because it's really pretty big and it's all mostly in one column. And if we look at the minimum and maximum possibilities, right, the maximum possibility would be 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, with 3 being the lowest number, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, with 6 being the highest number. Either way, a 4 is going to be in this region, but it can't be in any of those cells because there's already a 4 in that column, so that squeezes a 4 over there. And that bounds this region now because this region cannot go higher than a 3 because this 4 here, right? It can't go 3, 4, 5 or 2, 3, 4. The 4s would repeat. So these two cells have to be a 1 and a 2. This row is almost complete. It's missing 3 digits. It's missing a 1, 5, and 6. Well, a 6 can't go here. There's already a 6 there. So that puts a 6 in one of these two. Oops. Let's make it smaller. 1 also can't go here because then there's not enough space for it to be sequential with the 6, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. It would never reach to the 6. So the 1 gets pushed over, and that creates a 1, 6 pair. So where does the 5 go? The 5 is now forced there. This can't be a 1, because if that were a 1, this would be forced to be a 2. It's a 2-cell region, and there's already a 2 there. So, 1 being the lowest number, you can't go lower than 1 and say do a 1 and a 0. So this can't be a 1. That's a 6 forcing the 1 over there. So we can now make those bigger. So this cell here is either going to be a 5 or a 7 to be sequential with the 6. I don't think we can figure that one quite out yet. So this here, this region could be 8, 7, 6, 5. But it has to be because it's bounded. There's a 4 there. It can't go lower than the 5. Right? 6, 5, 4. The 4s would repeat. So these have to be 8 and 7. So we can do that. That's a pair now. And a 7, 8 pair. So this is forced to be the 1. We can make that bigger. Okay. So now, if we think about, well, let's look at this region, right? It's when you got one single digit and it's really high or really low, that could bound the region. So it's either going to be 8, 7, 6 or 5, 6, 7. Either way, we know a 6 is going to be in one of those two, right? 8, 7, 6 or 5, 6, 7. There's got to be a 6 in one of those. We already have a 6 in this column, so that pushes the 6 over there. Let's make that bigger. So this here is either going to be a 5 or 8. Well, and it can't be a 5. We already have a 5 in that column. So this has to be an 8. Make that bigger. And so now we're just missing 3 digits. We're missing a 2, 2, 4, 5. Well, 4 can't go here because there's already a 4 in that column and region. So that pushes and a 4 can't go here either. So this must be the 4. Right? If the 4 can't go here or here because there's a 4 in that column, now we know the 4 goes there. And now we're just left with a 2 and a 5. So either 2 goes there, or 5 goes there or there. I don't think we can figure that one quite out or quite yet. Let's think about where the 2 goes in this row. Actually, this is really interesting because there's a 2 in this region, so we know a 2 can't go in any of those, otherwise it would repeat. We know the 2 doesn't go there because earlier that we've said that the 2's would repeat in that column. 2 can't go there because there's already a 2 in that column. And a 2 can't go here because it's bounded by the 8 and the 3, right? 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. The 2 is too small. So that only leaves this cell as the 2 in that row. So that we can make bigger. We know the 2 goes there, making that the 5. And that, that the 2. So let's make these bigger. Making good progress now. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we know these are going to be 5s and 6. 5, 6, 5, 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Where does the 8 go? Well, 8 can't go here. So that puts an 8 in one of these two. Where does the 7 go? Well, it could go in any of those. So that's not super helpful. Oh, this column's almost complete. So let's look at this column. So we're missing 3 digits, 1, 5, and 7. Well, the 1 can't go here, and the 1 can't go here because it's not going to be able to reach the 6. So if the 1 can't go here or here in that column, the 1 is forced to be in that cell. We can make that the 1. So this is a 5 or 7. So a 6 is gonna, well, you know what? This can't be a 7, because where does the 6 go? There's a 6 there and there blocking all of these cells from being 6. So if a 6 can't go in this region, this can't be a 7, because you'd have to go down from 7, right? You could do 8, 7, 6, 5, but either way, if this is a 7, a 6 would be forced in this region, and we know that can't be. So this is the 5, making that the 7, which makes this the 8 and that the 7. Perfect. So we make all of those bigger. We've solved all of that, and we know this region is now bounded as 5 being the highest number, since the 6 cannot go in any of those cells. So it must go down 4, 3, 2. The 4 can't go in those 2 cells because it would see this 4. So since a 4 can't go in any of those, it must go there. And now a 3 and a 2 go here. And I don't think we can figure out which one's which. Okay, let's move on. Here we're missing 3 digits in this column. So we're missing, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're missing 6, 7, 8. Right? 6, 7, 8. Well, there's a 7 there I'm looking at, so that can't be a 7. That's 6 or 8. 6, 7, or 8. Well, there's already a 6 right next to it, so that can't be a 6. 6, 7, or 8. I guess that could be any of those. So that's actually not helpful at all. Let's look at this. So where a 1 has to go here, right? Because the 1 can't go in this region. We've already talked about that. The 8 and 3 bounds it. So this has to be 4, 5, and 6. So a 1 has to go here in one of those. So if a 1 is in one of those, this can't be a 1, because you can't have 2 1s in the same region. So that's a 5, making that the 7 and that the 1. So we can make all of those bigger. Oh, you know what? And that 7 makes this the 4, which makes that the 7. So that was really helpful, solving that. So now we know this is going to be a 5 and the 6, right? 5, 6, 5, 6. This creates a 5, 6 pair here. So this cell has to be the 7, because where else would you put the 7? So the 7 goes there. We can take the 7 away from that pencil mark. You know what that did too is that created a 6, 8 pair. So where does the 7 go in this column? It has to go there. So that's good. This is a triple now, so we have a 5, 6 pair there. The last 3 digits that we're missing is going to be a 1, 3, and a 4. Right? 1, 3, 4, 1, 3, 4, 1, 3, 4. And I notice there's already 2 4s covering those cells, so we can't have 4s repeating in that column. So this one must be the 4, making these a 1, 3. And don't think we can figure out which one's which right now. Let's make that one bigger so we don't get confused. This 5, 6 pair makes these 2 a pair, right? We're missing 2 digits. So you can see, I don't know if you've noticed, but a lot of this puzzle uses the same strategies and techniques as a Sudoku. So if you're familiar with doing a Sudoku puzzle, then you're going to like these puzzles as well. So we're missing 2 digits in this column. We're missing a 2 and an 8. So that's a 2 or 8, a 2, 8 pair. This can't be an 8 because it wouldn't be able to reach to the 4, right? It'd have to be 8, 7, 6, 5. The 4 is too small of a number for this to be an 8, right? 8, 7, 6, 5. 5 would have to be the smallest number if this was an 8. So that's a 2, making that an 8. Make those bigger. And this 2 forces that to be a 3, making that the 2. This 3 makes that a 1, making that the 3. This 1 makes that a 2, and that the 1. So now we can make all of those bigger, because those we've solved. And where does the 3 go here? Because this is a 2 and a 4, so remember it has to be sequential, so it's bounded. There needs to be a 3 in between them. 3 can't go here because it would repeat with that 3, so that cell's a 3. We can solve that. So this must be a 1 or 5, right, to be in order with this sequence. There's already a 1 in that column, so that's a 5. Oops, make that bigger. You know what? And this must be the 8, because where else would the 8 go? So these we can make bigger. We know that that's been solved. That 8 makes this a 6, making that an 8. This 6 makes that the 5. And that's 5 is in the same region as this number, so that's the 6, making that the 5, and that the 6. There, we've done it. We've solved it. Let's make them all the same size. That is how you do a Renban. So hopefully you guys like it. I really like this type of puzzle. Again, if you like Sudokus, if you're familiar with how a Sudoku works, this is very similar. And I actually think it's a little bit more fun than a Sudoku. So hopefully you guys liked it as well. If you did, give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more videos like this in the future. Thanks, everyone. Have a good night.